Hello YouTubers and fellow hams. Well, you might recall from my What's in the Box episode 2 that K6WHP sent me an Heathkit HW7 that has seen better days. I'm calling it the Hard Luck HW7. It's in poor shape. I'm going to do a multi-part video series on it, I think, as I work on it through time. It's probably going to be a few months long project. I'll come back to, work on it, and then put it aside and come back to it again. So I've done the first segment where I give it an initial look, and we do a little bit of work on it. Basically get it tweaked and partially operational for testing. So here's the first segment of the Hard Luck HW7, Restore, Repair, or Rejuvenation. The poor little guy, the more I dig into it, the sadder I feel for it. It has had a very hard life. Wow. So I got the bottom off. I was looking inside, and somebody removed the crystal connector. This had an option for a crystal that you could plug in the front if you wanted to run it rock bound. And there was some wiring issues inside, and this is the front panel meter, which is busted. Digging through my collection of meters, I found a suitable replacement. The scale's a little bit different on it, but I think it'll work just fine. But I got in here and I pulled the bottom cover off, and I just sat here with my mouth hanging open for a little while. This poor guy has just been mangled. I'm going to zoom in, or try to zoom in, and show you some details and some of the damage here. Up here, where am I at? Okay, yeah, right here. I don't know if you can see this. This trace has been cut through. There's score marks on the board where somebody cut that trace and then later patched it with a piece of wire. This has happened more than once. Where's the other one? Oh yeah, right down here. Hold on. So right here, this trace, which is was cut right through and then later bridged with a piece of wire. So what were they doing? Hacking off traces. Real interesting thing is over here at the audio amplifier. Right here, there is a wire bridging from this pad, which is a part of this foil ground. See this? Trace this foil up, comes up and around and down to here. So this wire is bridging across something that's already connected to a foil. Why? That's part of the ground foil, and it's connected. It's connected right through here. There's no breaks in the foil. There's no cuts, and yet they decided to put in a piece of wire there, and it was really poorly done. This corner of the wire was shorting against the solder pad right here from the adjacent pin. I had a squeal in the audio. I wonder if that was related. Now we go up a little bit. There it was. We got a bodge here with this capacitor. Some kind of a mod. Again, why? They've got a wire bridging from here to here, and yet this is all part of the same foil. See that? That's the ground foil. Comes up and comes around and comes down to here. So they bridged there when this is already electrically connected. I don't understand that. And then they've got this capacitor here from this group of traces to ground. And look at that. See how that capacitor just comes right across this ground trace? It's just barely clearing it, but I would definitely clean that up after I figure out what that is. I think it's a mod I read about. But it's just another one of those mystery bridges. For some reason they decided to bridge the ground foil, which is already connected, straight across. I don't know what they hope to achieve. If this was VHF or UHF, I could see that making a difference, but on these low HF frequencies, this foil is fine. You know, what's the point of that? Okay, down here. There we go. This foil here was cut and removed or yanked off the board, and it's been bridged over with wires. Right next to it, this looks like a cut too. Or started to cut it, I don't know. It's so strange. So strange. This poor thing has just been beat up. I used it as part of my zero beat video. And it did receive, but it self-oscillated and squealed and had all kinds of sensitivity issues and all that. I think part of the audio squealing was this shorted wire down here. But let's flip her over and look inside. Inside, it's not too terribly bad. There's a couple of spots. I can see down in here where there's a resistor that somebody cut at one point and lifted up, and then thought better of it and bent it back down and resoldered the exposed pins together. There's a mod over here, but that I read about this mod, so this is actual factory service bulletin mod. The relay is really dirty. I'm gonna have to clean the contacts on that. I've checked these electrolytics, especially down here in the audio section, with my ESR meter, and a couple of these are really bad. Some of them are okay. This big filter cap is okay on the power rail. This one over here is marginal. I haven't checked these two yet. I'll check those two too. I think what I'm probably going to do on this guy is I'm going to replace the bad capacitors. I'm going to try to align it and see if I can get it to behave the way it should behave, as it is. And if I can get the radio to work well enough, then I think I'll start thinking about what to do about the case. I don't know if I can get a front panel. I'm not too worried about the back panel, although the back panel's got all kinds of extra holes in it. The front panel has been mangled. They had mods in here at some point. They drilled holes. They widened out the hole where the crystal socket used to be, and they put some lettering on here, out plus 15 volts, 5 amp. I think they had a fuse in here at some point. I don't know. The spacers are gone. There should be mount screws here and here with spacers behind them to keep the dial, or keep the panel off the dial. And those are gone, so the dial is hopelessly scratched up. This part of it's completely missing. It's completely scratched up. I have a friend that has an HW7 that's in pristine shape, so I'm going to see if I can borrow his dial, put it on a flatbed scanner and make a copy of it, and then I'll take it into Inkscape and recreate it as a vector graphic. I can't find that anywhere on the web. Nobody has done a vector graphic of it, so I'll do that and then post it as a service to everybody else who's going to restore these. So we'll get that done. I don't know what to do about this front panel. I might try to find one, maybe on eBay. Maybe somebody's parted out one. I can get a panel cheap. If I can get a front panel for it, I've got crystal sockets, and inside here there's missing components down here, a couple of capacitors, and those are related to the crystal option. You can plug a crystal in the front, push this button, and use the crystal to transmit. So I don't know, I might restore this guy. It's in good enough shape, the board is, aside from those bodges on the back, that I don't think it'll take too much work to get it behaving the way it should have behaved when it was first built. So we might do that. A little update on the HW7. Working on it a little bit today. I've replaced a few bad capacitors. I went through and I did the alignment on it, and it aligned okay, although it's fairly horribly microphonic on 20 meters. You just tap it, and you could hear the bang, 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 bang from the taps. But otherwise, it's coming along. There's a few things to work out. I'm on 40 meters, and the pre-selector is extraordinarily narrow. Watch my fingers. See, there's just a hypersensitive little spot there. But it is working. It's putting out about 2 watts on all the bands. The VFO is on. A couple of things I've got to fix that are just ridiculous. Let me find a clear spot. The side tone is just way too loud. Yeah, that's about 2 watts out. So I need to quiet down the side tone a little bit. Haven't made a contact yet, but it is putting out power on all the bands. Let's switch to 20 here. Again, you can see just how sensitive that is, and it's not where it should be. Well, actually, it's got a sec. Now I'm picking up broadcast AM. See what I mean about being microphonic? Not so bad there, and I can block out the broadcast. Right around the 7 megahertz section of the preselector, I get a good peak for 20. About 2.5 watts. So it's kind of working. I got the radio working fairly well. I'm tempted to put the case on it and take it upstairs and just play with it for a little while, maybe make a few contacts on it, and just see how it's performing. So it's coming along. I need to get a dial. I figured out where the 7.1 and 14.1 was and marked it. Band spread is right on the dial. All the bands are receiving just fine, transmitting just fine, so it's really a working radio at this point. It's just cosmetically ugly, and like I said, extremely microphonic. I might try to chase that down too. So some mods I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the circuit and try to figure out why this preselector is so narrow. I mean, it should be a fairly smooth adjustment. I mean, you should feel it go like that, not pop, pop, you know, where it's just right there. So there's something odd with that preselector to work out. Cleaned up some more soldering on the bottom, replaced 4 electrolytics. Other than that, I haven't had to do too much to it so far, so there you go, just a little progress report on the HW7. I get it fully restored and get a new front panel on it. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to just fully restore it. I think that's the route I'm going to go with this one. So, just a short update. Thanks for watching.